Hey guys, Skis here, back with another Bitcoin video. So Bitcoin's currently sitting at 62K. We did get the bounce between 59 and 61 that we talked about that I was expecting to hold. So far we're holding it. We're not out of it yet. This is a nice bounce, but we're actually still really not that high above it, and maybe we do roll over. It is the weekend, so I was expecting Bitcoin to not really do much, and it's actually really nice that we're just not doing anything. So if I flip it to the 1 hour, you can really see that we really just haven't really been doing anything. We got the bounce. Now we're kind of going sideways slightly down. But I think this is actually really bullish. If Bitcoin can just hold around 62K going into Monday, then I think we could get a push up. I don't really want to see Bitcoin coming back down to retest it because we already tested it. So I really don't want to see it. It's not the worst. I still think if we did come down, there's a good chance it would hold. But it would be kind of scary at that point because it's like we came down, we got a bounce, then we're coming down again. So like maybe we would end up breaking it if we come back down. But we're not down there yet. So I think there's a good chance that this is gonna hold and we're gonna move forward and up from here. I think that something I didn't mention before, but I look at is traditional finance and stocks, and the S&P is basically at its all-time high. This is the highest it's ever been. Basically, a couple of days ago we were slightly higher, but we're at all-time highs right now at the S&P. Gold is at all-time highs. So traditional finance is actually doing really good. Bitcoin, on the other hand, has been completely just behind. I mean, we haven't put in an all-time high since March, and all these other traditional finances, stocks, and everything are at all-time highs. So there's a lot of room for Bitcoin to move up, and there's so much tension and everything in the economy and just the world right now, and Bitcoin could have sold off. I mean, it could have been way worse than just, a 10% drop here. We could have lost the support, kept going down, but it didn't. I mean, it ended up holding. So far, we're getting the bounce. So that's a really good sign for to me, and I really do think that Bitcoin's going to do good in October and November. And it's just the beginning of October still. It's only October 5th. So still early in October. I think that towards the end of October, we're going to start really moving, or maybe in the middle. But it looks good to me so far. So I really want to see us hold around this level in going into Monday, and then, trying to move back up this following week and maybe even take out this high this coming week. So that's what I'm looking out for. We'll see if it plays out. Something that I wanted to talk about also was how Bitcoin moves after elections, because we do have the US elections coming up. I think it's on November 5th, which is actually exactly a month from now. So we're 1 month away from the elections, and I just want to look through historically how Bitcoin has reacted after elections. So the last election was in 2020, and you can see it was this day right here, November 3rd, 2020. At least that's what Google says. I forgot what date it was, so I had to Google it. But, look at what Bitcoin did in 2020, which I've been saying is, very comparable year to right now. But you can see, I mean, we spoke about this time before, so I won't go into too much detail about it. But Bitcoin basically did nothing all of September and the beginning of October, right? So, like, this was October 5th, so this was exactly 4 years ago. Bitcoin started moving October 8th, 4 years ago. So I'm not saying it's going to do the exact same thing and start moving October 8th, but it took until like the second week of October, and then Bitcoin just started pumping. And basically just straight up pumped until the election, and then it just kept pumping after the election as well. So this is what happened last time, the elections, or the last elections. So Bitcoin just didn't really do much in the beginning of October. Second week of October started moving up, and then it just skyrocketed from there. Went from, if we count it on exactly October 5th, which was 4 years ago, Bitcoin was at around 10.7K. And then after the elections, it just had this massive bull market, which we know went to around 65K the first peak, and then 69K the second time. But that's what happened in 2020. Let's go back to 2016 and see what happened. 2016. So in 2016, you can also see that Bitcoin really didn't do anything in September as well. It kind of just went sideways. And then October, it actually started pumping. Actually, the beginning of October, it didn't do anything either. So this is the beginning of October. You can really see it didn't do anything for the first week. It took until October 10th in 2016. That's when it really got a big move up. It was actually only 3%, but it kind of started the big move up. So it still took like to the second week of October. We did kind of slowly come down after for like a week, but then we just started going up, rallying into the elections. And then right before it, looks like we had some market craziness. I mean, this was a big candle, minus 7% in one day. And then we just like had some craziness around the election, but then after the election, we just kept on pumping. And we, this just kept on pumping. Even in the short term, we went up to basically, let's look at October 5th again, because that's where we are right now. We were at around $610. And then by the new year started, January of 2017, so after the election, we went to 1,200. Then we, had some like craziness in the market again, but of course that led to this massive bull market that just kept on going. There were a lot of dips on the way, but it just kept on going all the way up until 20K, 19.9. So that's what happened in 2016. So what was it? It was October second week around. That's when we kind of had our first move up. Then we kind of did nothing for a week, slightly down, and then we just like kept on going up. And then, after the elections, just kept on going up as well. In this case, it was maybe like sell the news right before it, but it didn't really matter. Bitcoin just kept on going up because we did get a sell-off right before it. Kind of just went sideways a little bit into it, and then we pumped a couple of days after. In this case, we kind of started pumping like 4 or 5 days after the election. So that was 2016. And then let's look at 2012. I mean, Bitcoin is so low that the scale is just, these candles look so tiny. Bitcoin was at like $10 in 2012. This is crazy. Imagine buying a lot of Bitcoin back then. But, actually we dumped into the election. So we kind of did something that we're not really doing now, which is, or at least this year, which is we pumped in August and September. And then we just straight up dumped in October until literally the end of October. October 26th is where we bottomed. So October was actually pretty bad in 2012. But, even going into the election, we were in an uptrend because we finished the downtrend here. Heading into the election, which is the purple line, we started going up. Again, flatlined a little bit after the election. That's what we did in 2016. We kind of flatlined for a couple of days right after it. And then we moved up again. So, in all three cases, we definitely moved up every single time after the election. I think in 2 of the cases, we kind of flatlined right after the election. I'm talking days right after, and then we started pumping. But regardless, in all 3 scenarios, we just kept on going up. And I really think that's going to happen again this time. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys how Bitcoin acted in the last election. And yeah, I think that it doesn't really matter who wins. I personally think it would be better for crypto if Trump won, but I still think the markets will rally regardless of who wins. And I don't know how it's going to play out before going into it, but I do think we will be going up after it for sure. And I still think that there's a good chance that going into October or like going into November, so like towards the end of October, Bitcoin's in an uptrend, and like maybe like at the end of October we're around here like in the low 70s. Maybe we can't quite break it yet, and then the elections happen and then we break it after the election. So that would make Bitcoin in October going up towards these highs, not really breaking them yet, and then breaking them around the election, probably after, which would still be really nice. If Bitcoin just rallied for the rest of the month, even if it wasn't like super fast, it was just like, something like this. So this would actually put it right at the end of October if we did literally in this path. Then you know, maybe flatline, or like going into it, we're like close to breaking it. Or maybe we even break it right before and then we come down like flatline a little bit after and then boom, something like that. Because that's what we saw. Like in 2012, we actually did dump into it, or like right before it, you know, a couple days before the election, we did start going up again. But basically, October was a down month in 2012. But then 2016 and 2020, October was the second of October was when we were starting to go up. So we'll see how it plays out. I think that Bitcoin looks pretty good to me. We're still above the support, and I think a lot of people are still fading Bitcoin, which is actually really good. If people really think we're going to go down, then Bitcoin's probably going to do the opposite and go up. So yeah, guys, just an update on Bitcoin. We'll see what happens. I'm really curious to see how this week plays out. I also wanted to quickly go to the weekly, just to show you guys how it looks in the weekly, and it's really not that bad. I mean, if I turn on the bull market support band, we're back in it. You know, we did fall below it, but we're just chilling in it, and this is actually really good. If we just got above it, come down this week, hold it. There's only 22 hours left of this candle, so if we just close around 62, which we said at the beginning would be really good, and then next week's candle starts pumping back up, you know, we're bouncing off of it, I think that would look really, really good. So we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.